Hey everyone, I'm Randy with Templar, and welcome to the Faith, Reason, and Culture VR review series. Today we will be reviewing YUKI, rated everyone 10 and up. Let's get started. According to the official game summary, YUKI is an upbeat mix of the bullet hell and roguelike game genres in VR, set in an incredible anime universe. Step into the imagination of a child and fly through multi-dimensional worlds holding her favorite action character, YUKI. Use your hands to fly YUKI and dodge loads of bullets and obstacles that cross your path. Groove to the sound of mesmerizing music as you maneuver through each of the new spellbinding game levels while blasting the evil YUKI aliens. Collect cool power-ups to become stronger as you face new levels that surprise you every time. The more you play, the more powerful you become, and better are the chances you'll make it through. After all, a child's imagination can cease evil, and the only way to save the universe is to play like a kid. New free update with Endless Mode. Beat your friends on global leaderboards for each blade wing and intensity level. For gameplay and feel, I give YUKI an S. Although it's a very active game of quick reactions and dodging bullets, I found it to be very comfortable and had no problems with motion sickness even after long periods of play. On top of that, YUKI does really feel like you're flying around an action figure, and perhaps more importantly, the hitboxes of the bullets seem very crisp, and I felt I could trust that I was dodging correctly even when I couldn't directly see YUKI. The fact that she and her companion Pod are basically your controllers means that dodging with her feels very natural. Note if you end up playing that only YUKI needs to dodge bullets. Pod doesn't get hit, which makes him great for picking stuff up. For purpose and depth, I give YUKI another S. This one is mostly due to the new Endless Mode they added. Without this, the game may have even been tending toward a B, as while the story is pretty extensive with 5 classes and many things to unlock, it ends up having limited playability until new classes or something get added. With Endless Mode, however, as with all arcade games, it adds leaderboards and high scores to the game, giving it much more longevity, as now people have a reason to return and compete. Right now, judging by where I am on the leaderboards, they don't have too many people on them just yet. But hopefully that will change soon, and it really should, because YUKI is an extremely fun and even a pretty physically intensive game. YUKI is described as a bullet hell and roguelike game, meaning first that it involves a bunch of projectiles that you'll need to dodge, and second that it has elements of the 1985 game Rogue, such as randomly generated levels and permadeath, meaning after you lose you start at the beginning again. In both of these respects, I think the game does a stellar job. Though, to clarify for any nerds out there, YUKI is more of an action roguelike or a roguelite, rather than the traditional roguelike. Now for the truth rating, I give YUKI an A. While it has an Eastern sort of theme, and maybe the child's imagination tends toward a more Eastern or pantheistic metaphysics, it would only be very implicit. Explicitly, you're a child role-playing with her favorite action figure, who is imagining her restoring the creative drive to her imaginary realm, which has been corrupted by the bad guys, the YUKI aliens, who I don't think have very much backstory, other than they want to take and diminish the creative drive and thus destroy the world, presumably the world of imagination. I actually love this kind of theme, as I mentioned in my review of Moss. A lot of my work that I hope to bring to the channel soon deals with cultivating the imagination, especially in young people, and so in that regard I see a lot of good philosophical concepts within YUKI. And for the moral rating, I give YUKI another A. Because it is so wholesome and only violent in the mildest sense of the word, like calling Space Invaders violent, I'm almost tempted to even give YUKI the first S of the moral rating that I've given out. But I suppose I can't completely look past the violent nature of the game, and perhaps some other small things like the creepiness of some of the enemies, especially the bosses. I'm not sure if this is nitpicking, but there is still something holding me back from giving it the S. Still though, the A is commendable. Overall, Yuki definitely gets an S. This is a game I highly recommend basically anybody get, unless perhaps you aren't into these types of games. But even as just an arcade shooter, it's easily one of the best games I've played so far on VR. I love roguelikes, but even if I'm a little biased, I think Yuki is a game you don't want to miss out on. Even if you're a child playing with her action figure, that shouldn't put you off. Yuki is really intense, and I haven't even tried the most intense endless mode yet, or even all the different classes or blade wings. There's so much diversity for someone into these kinds of games, so that you can find your favorite build and climb the leaderboard in each of the classes. Anyway, get this game. If you don't, you're probably crazy. And for the minimum age recommended, I would say Yuki is definitely okay for kids 10 to 12 and up. But I could see mature kids that are 9 and even 8 also playing the game. Because like the comparison to Space Invaders, there really isn't that much violence in the game, even for one that is obviously more graphically advanced than Space Invaders. It still seems to have very little problematic content, and in some ways may even steer kids toward imagining and creating their own types of games like this in the real world. Perhaps one of the best effects a game can have on a young mind. Thanks for watching. Please give the review of Yuki a like if you enjoyed it or it was helpful, and be sure to let us know what you think in the comments below. And please subscribe for even more reviews and other nerdy content. For now, I'm Randy. This is Nerds Templar. Peace.